Hello, it's Denise, and I'm back again with day two of the 31 Days of Tarot 2019. So today's video is my top five decks of 2018. So most of these are decks all of these are decks I purchased in 2018. Most of these actually came out in 2018, at least the edition that I have. For example, this is the Naked Heart Tarot by Jillian Wild, and this is the second edition, I believe. Yes, the second edition, which I'm pretty sure came out in 2018, which is when I bought it. So I just love the backs of these cards. There's so much about these cards, and there's so much I could say, but I want to keep this a short video. But, oh, here's the Naked Heart. This is the bonus Major Arcana card, which I love. I just absolutely adore this deck. It has been like a real soul deck for me. I have such a deep connection with this deck. I don't know what it is about the illustrations, but it's like the very essence of the card is kind of really portrayed by like these really kind of simple type illustrations, but they're gorgeous, like these gorgeous illustrations, like the kind of a blank background, but the use of color, I think, and just the illustration itself is gorgeous, and it just really conveys to me like what the card is about. And it's just one of those that I just love to pull out and read with because it's just so clear. And I love to read for other people as well with this deck. And I just feel like because a lot of the cards have animals on them, that people really connect well with this. It's easy to read with, people connect well with it. I also feel like it does really good business readings for whatever reason. Like, I think that's just something that's been really clear with this deck. And so it's been really nice to read with. And I would say that this is, oh, here's another gorgeous one. I love these fish. And then I gotta show off, of course, the whale. I love that one. And I just could go on. This is the last one. I love this like octopus tentacle here. It's gorgeous. The colors are gorgeous. Illustrations are gorgeous. Everything about the card stock is gorgeous. Just completely gorgeous deck. One of the reasons I like it, I mean, the cards are by far my favorite, thing, obviously, but this is such a good bonus. It comes with this really thick guidebook in the little box, and it has, like, I feel like if you were just to get a deck of tarot cards for the first time and you just picked this up with no additional resources except probably the internet, you would be pretty well off with just this book. And for me, having the author illustrator, have the such a good, amount of information about the cards, the major arcana all have like the symbolic keys and associated gemstone and a reflection. So it's just, there's a lot that you can do as far as journaling. There's ways to actually work with the energy of the cards. You can use the associated gemstones with major arcana cards, and the backs of the cards. She actually goes through how to set up like a little crystal grid on the back of the card so you can charge your cards with a certain intent, which is amazing. I don't have any other decks that are like that. I'm sure I could put my own crystal grid on, but the fact that it's incorporated, I mean, this deck is just amazing from start to finish. I love it so much. And it is my favorite tarot deck of 2018. Just absolutely, without a doubt. And so, and while that one I have kind of like really good, like soul connection with kind of, and the images are very clear as to like the intent and the meaning, I feel my next deck, which is the Dame Darcy Queen Alice Tarot, is more of just like a fun deck, like a fun, quirky deck. Like if you like Alice, this would be a good deck for you. And I'm such a fan of the Alice stories. I've actually gone back through because it's been so long since I've read them and started to reread them. And just since it's been so long, I'm getting like a whole nother layer of meaning from the stories, which makes playing with these cards even more fun. So they're a little shiny, which took a little bit of getting used to for me, but I really, I've gotten used to them. I love them now. So, and I just love the colors, and the illustrations, of course, are gorgeous. Um, and the meanings are there, but they're not, I don't think, as clear as, say, like the Naked Heart Tarot, as far as like when you look at this, getting the meaning of the High Priestess. But you do, still have like the pillars in the background, and you have the name, like the title, which is the High Priestess. And then, so I think like this would be if you already are familiar with tarot, or you have additional like resources, like a book, that this would be good. But for me, I just love trying to bring in more like Alice energy, more of that like quirky, nonsense type. Like you don't really have to know what it means, like just really stream of consciousness, whatever I'm thinking, and then, not worrying if I'm right type of energy. I love this Hierophant card. I actually did an unboxing. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did an unboxing on this channel of this deck. I was so excited to get it, and I still love this deck. And it's really fun to play with. This is just a very playful deck. It's a very playful deck. So, like the Wheel of Fortune, still kind of have a little bit of, some not exactly typical like symbolism, but you kind of get the gist, of the whole Wheel of Fortune card. But yeah, for me, it's not about using it or having the meanings be clear. Like this is actually, I haven't read with these cards for anybody else. Like this has just been for me personally. Just I like to pull them out and just like look through them and do like some journaling exercises and that kind of thing with these, and just have fun, so actually that's but I still just love it so much. That's why it's one of my top decks of 2018, just because I was looking forward to getting it for a while, and I loved having it, and playing with it. But as far as doing, readings with it, that's not exactly what I use that one for. Now this one, the Moonchild Tarot, by Danielle Noel. I hope I'm saying her name right. Noel. This is another one of those decks that I love, and the guidebook was amazing. And I had not wanted to get, I had passed on getting her first deck, which is the Star Child Tarot. And now I'm really wishing that I would have gotten that. And that is definitely on my wish list. So, but that's another video. But here, it was the colors that at first, had put me off, and I took a chance and got this one, and I'm so in love with it. I really have enjoyed working with more of the like pastel type colors and a little bit different images. I feel like you do get the meanings off of these really well, but in a little bit different way. Like I get more like yoga pose out of this Hanged Man, which is, I think, very Hanged Man-esque. Like it's very something that you're doing kind of for yourself personally that might require a lot of commitment, but it's all about like the seeing the big picture. Like, I don't know, I really love it. And so not only are these cards, beautiful, and I am enjoying the colors, and obviously the quality of the cards is amazing on these. I love this Justice one. Like she just came across the scales and she's just like, least that's what I get. Okay, I have, this one's gorgeous. So there's those. The cards are gorgeous. The book is also really nice. It's another one of those really thick guidebooks you get, and it's in color too, which is amazing. You get a lot of information, especially for the major arcana, and then you still get a lot in the minors. You also get like these little inquiry questions. Like, for example, the Three of Wands has, how can I replenish my heart and play a little? And so it's a like, not only are those beneficial when you're reading for somebody, like if I need to offer somebody some help, once I've done my intuitive reading, like sometimes referring to those questions kind of helps like give a little like boost, like here's some things to think about. But mostly I use those questions for my own personal like journaling practice, which I am growing. I've been doing more and more, and I love it. I love the box too, with the moon in there. So this is a deck that I have used for readings for other people, but and it's really good for that too, because the images are pretty kind of like, pastel-y, like neutral, like it's, not very triggery. It's just a very nice deck for, reading, and the colors are really pleasant to look at. And so I've used that deck, but I use it a lot for myself. So, and that one came out in 2018. Like I pre-ordered this one. I pre-ordered the Dame Darcy, Queen Alice, and this one. I actually had somebody give me a reading with the Naked Heart Tarot, and then I went out and purchased it. And that's how I found out about that. And I'm so glad I did. And so this is my fourth deck, which is the Starman Tarot. This one is so fun. This one is so super fun. Like I wasn't sure what to think about this, and I did an unboxing of this, and I've talked about it in a couple other videos, but it's just, because even though, like I said before, I was a David Bowie fan, I still am of his work, but not a super fan, and I don't get every like reference, so it's kind of just me like doing this whole discovery thing as the process of these cards. But there's so much more to all of these cards. Like there's just so much in these cards, and I love these are wonderful for meditations, like because you can just get really sucked into the colors and the images, and so they're perfect for those. They do really well in readings. I was not sure how well they would work in readings, and I am so happy to say that they've been really, really on point. And I love the guidebook too, because it has a lot of good information in there. But it's not so, it doesn't cover like everything exactly, so you can still use your intuition, on a lot of the cards and the symbols. But the Starman. They're a little bit shiny, and they're really large, so they're a little hard for me to shuffle. Those are like my only issues with those, but just like that's just gorgeous. It's just like this like cosmic, like otherworldly like place that it takes you to. And not only is it fun, like look at that. Not only is that fun to look at with the colors and like all the different things there is to see, but it's just so, there's actual meaning behind it. And when you read the guidebook, it like gives a whole nother like viewpoint, and then there's just so much to do intuitively. So this is one of my favorite decks of 2018, and I love it. It's just super fun, and I look forward to working with that a lot more in 2019. So my final deck, I talked about this on another video too, is the Mother Peace Tarot. And while this is not new, did not come out in 2018, this has actually been in print for over 35 years. I think it might have gone out of print temporarily within that time, but it has been around for like as long as I have. which is quite a feat for tarot. And I still, on my list of things to do is find a really good bag or holder for these cards. This was the first round tarot deck that not that I purchased, but that I ever really used. And I really love the Mother Peace Tarot Guidebook by Karen Vogel. There's a bigger book by Vicky Noble, which is the co-author, and Karen Vogel and Vicky Noble are co-authors of the Mother Peace Tarot. But this one especially has all the upright, reverse, left, and right meanings, which has given my readings with these cards so much flavor. Let's see. I don't know, their illustrations are kind of not exactly what I would have considered my style previously, but I love, oh yeah, I love the amount of thought that went into creating these cards. You don't get a lot of information in the little book. You get a lot more in the bigger book, but it's very female oriented, which I really appreciate. It tries to be very inclusive of different cultures, which is nice. And it just has a great deal of thought, put into the images and what they mean, and being able to interpret a card based on if it's, upright or reverse or left or right is just, and not in a four completely different meanings, but as in, there's one meaning and then there's four different aspects and all different shades, of ways to interpret it. And it's just been absolutely amazing. The Emperor is one of there are some dudes in this deck. It's not just females only. I think there's a guy right there. So it's not just anti-man deck, which I kind of was wondering if that was going to be the whole thing when I bought it, because I knew it was a very feminist deck, but I really enjoyed it. It's very pro-humanity, type of a deck. So, and it has just been so important for me on my journey this in 2018, which I've been reading more feminist literature, and just thinking about things in a whole new way. There's just so much going on in the news and all sorts of craziness, and just really giving it a lot of thought. And then this deck has really played a part in helping me find some, peace in myself. So it has just been such a blessing to have this deck, to have found it at the end of the year, basically. I think a lot of these decks I got towards the end of this year. My studies, have been ongoing, but the end of this year is when I kind of was I'm really going to buckle down and do more tarot. And so I've just been really enjoying working with these new decks as I get them. And those are my top 5 tarot decks of 2018. I feel like I've been chatting forever. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I will talk to you later. See ya.